we go. What is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. If everybody is good, I'm doing very well because we're continuing down this path of trade value, sell now on these players. We had the buy now episode just posted recently on Sunday, so check that one out as well. Very interesting. We got to understand where these players' values lie today, where I'm kind of moving on from, and who I'm wanting to keep at this point. There are some opportunities even in the sell now that you can buy some of these players as well, but there is some good values that we can gain and garner at this point, and it's worth exploring the options to trade some of these guys because of their circumstances and their situations. Just like the last episode, let's discuss trade values, top 5 QB, Superflex, Jaden Daniels, 100 points on the trade value, Josh Allen, 95, Lamar Jackson, 92, Joey B, 72, and a Patrick Mahomes, he sits at 71 trade value points. So first one on my board is a little bit interesting, and I might be, jumping the gun a little bit, but it is CJ Stroud, 23 years of age, Houston Texans, and y'all know me, man. CJ Stroud was my dude coming out of the Ohio State Buckeyes, and he still is, okay? I'm not giving up hope on him 110%. He was truly one of my guys, and I don't typically, make waves to trade away my guys very often. But I mean, at this point, we got to understand what's going on. There is some level of concern that I have today for a CJ Stroud in this offense. First, the regression from last season. I mean, it happened based on Stroud's play. The offensive line had issues galore all over. And I mean, it wasn't necessarily corrected this offseason on the offensive line either. However, I mean, there is also that shoulder issue that he did have. And it's rumored that there was some off-season shoulder, cleanup surgery. And I mean, whether or not there was a procedure, if that's true or not, it is still something that we got to put tabs on and keep markers on for a CJ Stroud at this point. This is something I'm not happy about if he is dealing with shoulder issues already, where head coach did say, D'Amico Ryans did suggest it was just shoulder soreness. But I'm going to say, with other people saying this was an operation or procedure, I should say, that does give me a little bit of pause to say, what happened to CJ last year? He was one of the most highest sack quarterbacks last season as well, and his play totally dropped off, losing somebody like Tank Dell to that injury, but they did move in a positive direction. CJ's got some new weapons in a Higgins and a Knoll, so these two rookies coming in to help this offense get back on track definitely is on point. Out the door, Tank Dell due to the injury, and Stephon Diggs no more, so they still got Nico Collins, and rumor has it that a Nick Chubb is going to be signing with these Houston Texans as well to join with a Joe Mixon, so that also suggests to me that they want to be more run-heavy to protect a CJ Stroud. Big-time issues for me, and there is a, opportunity for this offense to bounce back, but CJ definitely requires a little more assistance. Seeing that boom rate of only 35% really crippled us last year. There were situations in some of my keeper leagues, in my dynasty leagues, I already shipped CJ Stroud out last year, and I was, saying it's not the fact that I was completely done with this man, because I still believe in the talent and the skill set and what this guy can do on the field. There is no question in CJ Stroud's talent and ability, but for me right now, I don't like where it is going. Ranked 11th for quarterbacks in trade value, holding a nice 55 out of 100 points is still very strong because he is only 23 years of age, and he is a great quarterback in the making. There is just some issues that I do see. So at this point, I do fully expect CJ Stroud to bounce back from last season, so I don't hate keeping him either. But I mean, it's time to test the waters because he is a youthful quarterback and he can bring in massive returns for your roster. Many players and picks could come back for a CJ Stroud, and I don't dislike, trading him away at this point because there is that, muddied waters to say, is he going to bounce back from last year? Is he going to be a, prototypical elite quarterback in this league? I still do believe that he does have a lot of potential, but sell on the top end value as of today, I'm totally okay exercising that option. Jared Goff, 30 years old, Detroit Lions. Okay, the Lions are going to go through something of a transition this season as well with the play caller, mastermind, Ben Johnson, no longer in town in Motown. Jared Goff, we're going to be seeing him coming with he's coming off one of his best seasons, I should say it that way, of his NFL career with a Ben Johnson. Finished as the, 6th-ranked quarterback in fantasy football points. 336 points last year was a very nice treat for a lot of us who could have even snagged him off the waiver wire in most cases. But based on his age, we understand, based on on this offensive dynamic and the Lions and how they're going to be undertaking this season a new, offensive system potentially. Obviously, Ben Johnson with those Chicago Bears now, and new offensive coordinator is going to have to install his method of madness. Could we see something of a pullback regression overall in a Jared Goff in this offense? It is absolutely possible that we could see that. And I mean, Goff has seen his values drop of late as well, holding only 27 points, value points on the trade docket, and holding the 20th position on value rank. Definitely not good for a Jared Goff, but we see where the writing is on the wall. He's aging already at this point, but he has played his best football in Detroit. There is no question about that. This might be the best value that we could get for a Jared Goff at this point with 27 value points, and I still think he's probably undersold right here. He should be around the 40-point mark for trade value, but I mean, coming off a great 2024 campaign, you got to talk about getting all the return on investment that you possibly can. Sell now unless you're challenging for a championship in Superflex leagues. Then I will keep a Jared Goff. Outside of that, I'm definitely going to see what the appetite is out there for a Jared Goff on trade values, man. Running back time, trade values, like I said, Bijan Robinson, 87 points. Ashton Genty, 85. Jahmyr Gibbs, Gibby, 83 points. Saquon Barkley, 68. And Devin off the A-Chain, HN, is at 62. So we see where the values do let rest for these running backs at this point right now. Give you a little bit of a comparison game to these guys that we got going. First one I got is James Cook, my guy. This sucks. Here we go, baby. It is a massive situation that we need to discuss when it comes to the Buffalo Bills and James Cook. A lot of moving parts on this situation. But before I get into all that, you know how much I praise James Cook coming out of Georgia UGA. You guys know he was my dude, man. When everyone said the Bills didn't need a running back because they had Josh Allen, I was pushing for the speed back like this. Not only take the pressure off Josh Allen, but to give the Bills the dynamic weapon that we required to make home runs anytime he had the ball in his hands, right? So now as we sit today, James is pushing hard for that massive contract. $15 to $20 million is what he's looking for. And the Buffalo Bills are not going to be paying for a running back that much money when they're paying Brinks trucks to a Josh Allen. And I mean, we could also argue, is he rightfully deserving of a new contract? Absolutely. But it's likely more in the situation of the Alvin Kamara deal. You're talking $10 to $12.5 million for a James Cook, and this does not look like it's going to, resolve itself very well at this point. I just don't know what the Bills want to do in this situation. I understand they probably don't want to pay $15 million for a running back. Who really does, unless you're talking about somebody like a Saquon Barkley and company. James Cook is that good. He is a playmaker. He is one of these guys that is going to, in this offense, it's one of those situations, is the grass greener on the other side if he goes to another club? Probably not, man. You're playing with the likes of Josh Allen and one of the highest scoring offenses in the entire NFL. James had a great 2024 season, nearly hitting 70% on that boom rate, which was fantastic, jumping into the top 10 of fantasy running backs, sitting at 8 overall with 250 points last season. Great, absolutely great season. What I say the year prior to that, after he finished in 2023, he had to get more touchdowns, get into the end zone, and I said he was going to crack the top 10, and that's exactly what he did. Now he knows his value and he wants to get his dollars. You can't hate on a guy for doing that, but I mean, the trade value charts, it didn't hit necessarily on the top end like we had anticipated. 39 out of 100 points right now, sitting as the running back 14, ranked on value trade bait right now. So you see that there is opportunities that you could, people are undervaluing him because of the situation. People are terrified if he does go to another club. What's that going to look like as well? Will he join another tandem approach where in Buffalo, he really does have, the majority lion's share of the carries with Josh Allen in the backfield. So that's what it is. I mean, if James does get traded, could we see more production? Maybe. And it totally depends on what team he does go to. But if he stays with the Buffalo Bills, I mean, the effort, will it match what the business decisions he's going to do if he doesn't get his contract, not playing as hard, trying not to get hurt, protecting his body, hoping to get a new contract next year? There's a lot of moving parts when we talk about a James Cook. So right now, shipping him away to get a good deal. I'm not going to give James away, but I'm definitely looking on the open market to see where the interest does lie for a James Cook. Naji Harris, Los Angeles Chargers, age 27, next one on my board. I mean, it's still only 27 years old, and I mean, Naji reminds me of somebody like a Leonard Fournette, Uncle Uncle Lenny, because they just seem to be getting old on the field, even at their youthful age. They just seem to be getting old, man, right in front of our eyes. Uncle Lenny, we saw, man, he lost a step early in his career. He looked like a grandpa out there running the football. He lost his burst and speed, and then he kind of changed his game to being more of a power back as his career did move on. Naji's kind of rolling in that same direction, moving from the Steelers now and looking to be a tandem approach with rookie Omarion Hampton, one of my guys as well. We could see less volume, but more efficiency and goal line upside for a Naji Harris. Absolutely. With these LA Chargers, we know the MO of a Coach Harbaugh. He loves to run the football, loves to control the clock and play the bully, so that Naji definitely should have a role this year. But post that, what are we going to see, man? A lot of managers, they're not running to trade the trade portal for a Naji Harris, and I don't blame them. I mean, he's seeing a massive, colossal value drop of 36 points, or 36 down ranked to 36, holding only 16 trade value points. I mean, it's hard to get good returns on a Naji at this point. I mean, he's a great player to package up with somebody else on your team in hopes to get picks or players as well back. That's all you're going to do. So at this point, put together a good package, hope for those big returns before it is too late, because after this season, what is Naji's worth going to be? And I know there's a lot of people that are running back hungry, so you could, at least capitalize on a team that does require running back for this season, and Naji could at least still give you, anywhere 650 to 700 yards and maybe 8 TDs based on goal line upside. We will see how that tandem does, pan out, but I definitely am shopping a Naji Harris. Trade values for these wide receivers: half PPR Dynasty, Jamar Chase, 100 points, Justin Jefferson, 93, CeeDee Lamb, 89, Malik Neighbors, 86, and Puka Nacua, 84. That is your top 5 for wide receiver value. So the first one on my board is an A.J. Brown, grown-ass man. Philadelphia Eagles, age 27, and I'm a huge fan of an A.J. Brown. Always have been since his Ole Miss days, playing with somebody like DK Metcalf. He was a definite sleeper coming into the league in his draft year. And something happened last season with these Eagles, and that exactly was Saquon Barkley. That's why we saw the numbers drop off for an A.J. Brown. And I didn't expect the fall to be that huge, man, with the total number dropping to wide receiver 18 and points scored under 200 for A.J. Brown. This is just definitely very discouraging in what they're going to do, and they still won the Super Bowl. So you're telling me they're going to alter and adjust this offensive approach this season that much more and give A.J. Brown more targets? I have a hard time with that 110%. But I mean, maybe we will see a bounce back in 2025. And I mean, but the way the Eagles, like I'm saying, do run the ball, I just can't see it, man. The positive, though, is that A.J. Brown still holds massive value. 59 points out of the 100 and still rests as the 10th wide receiver overall in trade value. So, I mean, playing, for the defending Super Bowl champions, there's a lot of ways that we can orchestrate a deal with this wide receiver to get something maybe youthful back, maybe some picks back, maybe even trade A.J. Brown for a running back if that is your need. And there's going to be a lot of interest for Brown, because when he is on the field, when he is making a lot of plays, he does make a lot of plays and points for us in the fantasy football realm. So I do like the fact that if you can sell him on the high, you definitely go get those returns, because he is aging to 27. He's reading books on the sideline. That's not necessarily something that I want to do. I want to have on my fantasy team getting, 5 points and him reading books on the sideline, because he's very, angry with the usage. So definitely start shopping in A.J. Brown. DK Metcalf, age 27 as well, takes his talents to these Pittsburgh Steelers. And I mean, the career so far for DK has been, up and down overall. And trading to the Steelers, I mean, it does give him some new opportunity, new life. And seeing Aaron Rodgers, now the new quarterback for these Pittsburgh Steelers this season, I do believe the upside perception is here to capitalize on that value markers, and it should come back. I mean, DK's fallen down the ranks to 26 on the trade value, with his totals holding strong, with still at 40 basis points of trade value. You can still get a lot back for a DK Metcalf now that Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback. When it was Mason Rudolph and rookie Will Howard, maybe we'd have a different topic of conversation, but now with an Aaron Rodgers, we could see this absolutely uplift this season. How is this season going to go for the Steelers? We will see. Will DK be that guy to take the huge leap with an Aaron Rodgers? We will see. I mean, we've seen what he can do on the field, but the biggest issue is the consistency. It's been underwhelming overall. Start looking for other options to ship out a DK. Low-end wide receiver upside is still here, but the floor is falling, man. And I mean, if Aaron Rodgers only plays 1 year with these Steelers, who's going to be the quarterback for following seasons? I mean, search out these deals. Get those great returns for DK Metcalf. I'm still a big fan of his game, but I mean, there's too many uncertainties for me Now it's time to start moving on from a DK Metcalf. Tight end time. Trade values have PPR tight end premiums. Brock Bowers, 69. Trey McBride, 64 points. Sam Laporta, 43. Colston Loveland, rookie, 41. And Tyler Warren, rookie, 38. Who's on my board for tight ends is David Njoku, 28 years of age. And while we did, so I was always one of these guys that I did like a David Njoku, but I wasn't always, fully praising the man. 28 years of age, and the Browns in something of a transitional phase, especially at the quarterback position. Njoku finally did show the fact over these last 2 years that he was the player that we hoped that he could be, man. However, we always keep seeing these injuries pile up for this man. He's getting hurt, going into the medical room. It's definitely not good for our teams and our fantasy football play. He's going to, plan out to be the guy, that I wanted to. But, I mean, the Browns also feel like they're like, we got to adjust. And there's playmakers that they added to this team. They look to, like I said, in that transitional phase. They got themselves a Judkins, a Sampson, Shadir Sanders. They also drafted Harold Fannin Jr., who is a stud in the making. What did he catch? 117 passes last year in college football. And, I mean, I think that he could be even better than what David Njoku is. People saying comp him to somebody of an Antonio Gates, prototype tight end wide receiver type. It's very possible. He's got speed, he's got agility, he's got, catching, great hands. Fannin Jr. is one of these guys that could definitely take the role of a Njoku, because I do believe the Browns also see the writing on the wall and saying, he's aging out a little bit and he's finding his way into the medical room in back-to-back seasons. Not something that they want to have. So could they even do 12-man personnel this year with both Njoku and Fannin? Absolutely. This could be one of these situations. So you will be getting good value back for Njoku because he is still that productive. Ranking 10th as a tight end in values with 20 trade value points. There is still opportunity to find a trade partner here and get Njoku off your roster before Fannin makes this man irrelevant. That is my biggest concern at this point, because Fannin Jr. is the real deal and legit. So I'm saying at this point, it's hard to trade tight ends. I understand, but try to get as much value as you possibly can, because I'm trying to ship Njoku off my teams if I have better options. But there you have it. That is sell now players. I got the buy now players as well. Definitely check that video out. Draft guide is coming soon. I'm telling y'all, man, end of the month in June, we should be able to release this thing. It's going to be a monster, so definitely stay tuned for that. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. Who you selling? You like these guys to sell? You buying any of these guys? Throw it in the comments. We could definitely talk it out, but we'll see you next time. I am out.